Helmut, Helmut Schuller, the owner of bocad. Just as a very short introduction, and I think in a way it's just to understand why I'm so passionate about bocad. I'm probably one of the very seldom people who acquired the product twice. I used to work in my previous life for Aviva, and in 2012 I acquired a bocad on behalf of Aviva. 10 years later, I acquired it again out of Aviva for my own company. And basically, bocad, it's 100% owned by me personally as a person, and it's not a financial-driven company whatsoever. It's a private company based in Germany, although I'm myself Austrian. But you all know this very famous wording, I'll be back, Arnold Schwarzenegger. That's my home, where I'm coming from. And thanks to Carrie, because she's the one, she invited us 3 years ago, and asked us whether we are willing to show up, because she was remembering in New York there are some real special projects like the vessel, which was done with bocad, and she thought bocad is a very good tool for very complex structures. Never thought about you can do it for everything at the end. But there's one thing, and I really want to just highlight this. If there's one thing special on us, then I would say we're listening to our customers. So whatever we do, it's not just, okay, we do something and hopefully the industry will appreciate what we're doing. With the development team, we actually do have daily communication in between the technical team supporting our customers and the developers in order to really do what they need. The second thing is we are delivering at the end. We're not just making big promises. At the end, we are really delivering. Whilst we are, it's a very proud to be about being a very innovative company. Since BIM is in all big projects, it's one of those things you can't bypass. Is that we need to become a partner also of Autodesk with Revit, because almost every bigger project there are quite a lot of things to do with Revit, and I said we need to have tools and concepts how to work with others. So we are not living in isolation. We're actually partnering and working with many different companies. And there's one last thing, and this is very important to me. bocad is in the meantime also a US registered trademark. So, we watch out what's going to happen, because we're going to come up with an office in the US, etc. Very shortly. And the important thing to me is, today speaking to companies very often, what are you doing with AI? And honestly, I love AI. But there's one thing, I'm never ever going to use it. I want to talk to people. So communicating with our customers, within the industry, we're going to use people, because I don't want to end up with AI prompts and whatsoever, and what's up, because I think it's really important to talk to people. So for development, I like it. Using it, let's say, in our support organization internally, I love it. But communicating with people, we are ready to talk to you, and we are ready to listen to you, and this is to me in a way a very big differentiator to many other companies. But so what, we are here for you. Egon, he's gonna show what bocad is in detail, and well, enjoy the show. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Helmut. So I'll take it over from here. Please, guys in the back, I know I'm known for not speaking out loud enough, so please go like this if I have to speak a bit louder. I know that's what you get from being stuck in front of your screen all day. But yeah, my name is Egon Wesley. I'm one of the technical consultants at Schuller & Company. I'm basically in charge for the whole technical bit for let's say the Western Hemisphere in the end. I've been working with bocad for 26 years now, and I'll give you a bit of an overview of some of the things I would like to highlight for today. If you have any other further questions, I'll man up the table there after my presentation, so if you have any questions, feel free to drop by and ask me anything you can think of. I'll gladly show you whatever I can. So bocad, yeah, some of you might not have heard of it yet. As Helmut said, Terry asked us to come over 3 years ago, but we don't exist for just 3 years. We've been there for 40 years. It was originally in the 70s, a university project and so on, and over the years evolved until where we are today. So under SNC, we've been gradually moving along for the last 5 years, but I won't bother you with the whole history right now. Let's immediately go into what is bocad first of all. So Helmut quickly mentioned it already. It's a 3D BIM detailing software, structural detailing software. In the past we used to say CAD/CAM. Today this has evolved quite a lot, and it can be used for steel, aluminum, timber, structural glazing, cladding, other types of materials. Of course, like Helmut mentioned as well, we're quite open to any kind of format, since in the current day you have to be able to communicate, whether it is with architectural design, point clouds, fabrication machines, you name it. And you'll see throughout the presentation, there's one thing I would like to focus on today, is a lot of software vendors tend to focus on 3D models. 3D models can basically be done with SketchUp. But in the end, what matters, can it be fabricated? We know that the architects sometimes really don't think of that, but software vendors as well. Making a 3D model is one thing. Being able to extract the right data, the right information without having to touch it up manually, that is important. That's one of the things software vendors tend to forget. And bocad actually came from the workshop and made its way to the street, so to speak. Originally we started in the workshop. The NC1 files you know today, the NC format, the STD format, is our format. They're used lots ago. We definitely know what's going on, and that's why we're going to focus quite a lot on that as well today, to highlight some of the important things there. So from your model, it's of course important for us to take out all types of drawings, CNC, NDT reports if you need, even for weld inspection, if that's even one part of your deliverables. We deliver all of these things, but you'll see that throughout this presentation. So let's fire it up. I'll just start with a very basic principle. I won't pick up any big models. I'm going to keep it as clear and simple as possible today, so that everybody understands what I'm doing. Every project starts with a basic grid, basic let's say environment or axes and elevations we're going to start with, and I'm just simply going to pull up a view. Of course, a 3D view of this. There we are. And let's start modeling a couple of components. So a column of a specific size. So it might be a bit different from what you're used with your own software. You'll tell me perhaps later what you're used to. We started by saying, okay, for those who have purely an AutoCAD experience, if you feel more comfortable working in a 2D environment, please do so. If now on the other hand you say, no, in my company we work in a 3D environment, that's totally up to you where you feel more comfortable. So we can bring in anybody with any kind of experience onto this kind of software. Same thing as well. The multi-user or the multi-window, I should say, capabilities allow us to work in whichever window we feel more comfortable. So if I feel more comfortable selecting something in a 2D view and like here copy it in a 3D view, it doesn't matter. I don't have to think about UCS, I don't have to think about references. It is what you see in front of your eyes, that's what you're working with, that's what you're working on. That's to us anyway, a fairly basic principle. Let me just put in a couple more beams to dress up this model slightly more. And just copy them, place them over a couple of them. So very simple little framework, so I can explain what we'd like to focus on. Very simple little thing. In these type of projects, we see more and more requests for teamwork. Since you're under heavy pressure, you would like to pull in more than one person at a time in these kind of jobs. So modeling is one thing, being able to work with several people as a team, that can be sometimes a bit of a different challenge. So what I'll do here for myself, I have one phase in my project, so we allow you to divide your projects up into phases. Makes, say, the workflow a bit easier. So say I'll make a second phase. The first phase was for Helmut already. Second phase will be for me. Close this. I want. Okay, so from here, I'm gonna have a look into what we call the concept of one project. One project is a concept we kicked off with. Teamwork is nothing new, we invented, but the whole concept of being able to work on one single database through multi-users in the bocad environment or through interfacing or communicating direct links with other softwares. And I'm sure Ryan is perhaps going to touch a word on that as well. We'll see later on. So teamwork, I say we're going to work by phases. So what am I going to do? I'm going to say this guy here, he's going to get one part and the other is going to get the second part. So I'll say, first of all, columns, they go to Helmut, everything, and then, so I'm going to give him a part of the job, but I'm not going to give him the whole job. It's quite annoying if you have a couple of 1,000-ton job or a couple of 100-ton job and you have to work on a small area and they give you the whole project. There's so much stuff around there you absolutely don't need. So why bother even having it around you? Let's say making your views not clear and so on. So what I'll do here is say I will be allowed to connect my my columns to what? To all of these. Then I'll say external members when I'm not connecting to, forget about it. I'll export this. And what I'm doing with this, I'm saving this as what we call an extract, and I'm saving this on the cloud. So what I'm doing here is being saved on, well, in this case, I don't have direct cloud access to our company, so I'm saving it on my OneDrive. That will work as well as a cloud storage. When it comes to the floors, I'll say, well, I would like to work with all of these components. There we go. I would like to connect to what? And I'll purposely make it not correct. So I'll say I will be able to connect my floors with 4 columns only. I'll do this purposely. So I can say I will put these and the 2 columns as just elements I can see but not interact with. So I'll have them in my model, but I will not be allowed to touch them, to do anything. It's just for me to have an understanding of what's around us. And that is done. So I'm closing this off, and I'll put myself in the shoes of one of the users. Now, what does the user do? He will go to management, he will go here to the cloud and say, what do we have on the cloud? There should be an NISD in here with 2 parts to work on. I'll say, I want to work on that floor. And it basically gave me all I need here. I can see also with a little cube here telling me this is a partial project or an extract like we call it. I can start working on it. And immediately when I realize, let me quickly come back because I picked something wrong. As you see under let's call this back. We'll do it right this time. So let me just quickly check. We have floors. What did I do wrong? It can happen. It's Monday morning. First presentation, it happens. So what I'll do to make my life easier, I'll make sure that these are part of the proper phase. Let me just move. I hope I can move this thing here from zoom away. So I'll check here in green. I can see phase 2 columns are phase 1. Okay, so let's do that again properly this time. So I would say teamwork. I would like to save this. Yes, and I would say the guy working on the floors. I give you the whole thing. And I connect to what? I connect to this, this, and the others I want to see, but I won't be able to touch it. Go. Do that once more. So NISD, floors. We'll play a bit right this time, and there we go. This is what actually I would like to work on. So we can take back 3D view, which is here, and actually, let me just take the other one. Here. I would like to highlight with color coding. The blue components are mine. The green components are the ones the project administrator or the project manager said, those green components, they're not yours, they're somebody else's, but you're allowed to connect to, because of course those floor beams have to be connected to the columns. And the orange, brown ones, they're there for you to see your surroundings, but you're not allowed to touch them. How does this work in reality? So if I say, well, let's take a connection, for example. And before I do that, actually, let's do it like this. Because I was talking about the drawings earlier, and there's a couple of things in the drawings I find quite unique to our software. So most people will start the drawings at the end. So you build up a 3D model, fix all the issues you have to go through all the technical queries back and forth, and then only you start on the drawing. The drawings are instead indeed the final deliverable you have to come up with. But if I tell you that take an e-sheet, empty piece of paper, so to speak, and we'll load not drawings, but views. These are my views here. I say I select 3 of these, put one here, put another one there, and the last one over here. Looks like I have to move one of them. Okay, just this one will slightly there. Okay, so this is a drawing. Everybody can see that. I took an empty sheet and put some views in there. Now, what makes bocad quite unique is that the drawing environment and the modeling environment are the same thing. I try to explain it often like this. A drawing to us is nothing more than a bunch of views we gathered together, and we just put a frame around it, build material on the side, and that's it. It's the same environment. So if you want to start from day one on the drawing, you can. If you say, okay, halfway I started the drawing, feel free to do so. If on the other hand you say, no, I have a certain workflow, certain habits, I make my drawings at the end, perfectly fine. But the beauty is, once you have to make modifications, of course you send out the drawing, perhaps in PDF format, comes up with all kind of yellow notes on it, change this, change that. What do you do in your traditional software? You go back to the 3D model, update the 3D model, update your drawings. Here you can adjust the drawings immediately, and it has an effect on the drawing. Let me show you how that works. So if I say I need a couple of intermediate beams, just a couple of locations, oh, actually no, I'll do it like this. Sorry about that. I'll do it differently. I found it a very useful one. I'll say, well, I need equal spacing for my floor. We have here, what do we have? 16 feet. I need an equal spacing, but without exceeding 5 feet, for example. I'll say, just tell me where they will be located, and I'll just model in those beams. What size do I need? Oh, I don't know. Take the same thing as this one, and I'm in the drawing, as you can see. The model is being built up. If also, because we're in the drawing environment, if I say, look, I need some dimensions in there for clarification, yes, we can, and what I will do, I'll save them in my plan views. So I'll say these beams need to be dimensioned compared to those columns. There we go. There's a dimension, as we all know, in a drawing. That's what you get, of course. I can do it differently. Go back to this view. So I go to that elevation. This is the elevation. We're not going to work like that, of course. For this kind of representation, obviously. And I'll say in here, I'll put that very same type of dimension. So if you want to annotate some drawings while working on it, personally I do that quite a lot when I work on what we call proof of concept. Before we used to do detailing, but of course these days we don't do that anymore. I don't want to compete with you. That's not our job. But I found it very useful to have annotations like this of dimensions while I'm modeling, to check myself visually. And especially I want to keep these because they might be useful in the end. So if I say here, I put these in the views, it is just a matter of saying in my view here, let's switch off, please show me all the dimensions I put in the model. So while I'm working, I'm annotating the things I find important to visually check myself, but I know it's important for the guys also in the workshop or direction later. So everything I annotate, I can make it appear in the drawing if that's important. Why not? You don't have to do it twice like this. So let's get busy with some of the connections. So this whole concept of saying I get members that are my own, I have other components that I see but I can or cannot connect to it. Why is that important? Because let's take a connection here, for example, more North America style. This one, for example, I'll just switch off the stiffeners and I'll just go in the drawing while we're at it. These two columns here, we see them being highlighted, so I'm sure that I'm taking the right one and connecting those two columns to the B. So those two are connected now. So that was no issues. It allowed me to do this because I was allowed to connect to these components. But if I say now these two columns, or actually one is enough, this connects to that, someone said, no, you're not allowed to do this. I see them, they're not mine, I'm not allowed to connect to it, so it's fended off, so to speak, and not allowed to connect to this. Like this, we are sure that each and every person involved in the job is allowed, has certain rights, so to speak, to touch things or not. We don't want to be in a situation where I work on something, 5 minutes later somebody else changes it. You don't want that, of course. Or I save, you save later, you overwrite what I've done. I cannot see how that can happen properly. Yes, constant communication, but we want to, yes, communication has to be stable. We want to make it sure with rights, for example, make sure that you can organize your work properly. Let's put in a couple more connections, because I also would like to show you some drawings, of course. Let's look at this connection here, for example. Sorry about that. Change that. Should have saved it. Fine. It's quickly adjusted. It's different from me. And sorry about that. I put it. Yeah, that's better. So there I would like to go. And these three. I'm still in the drawing. One. So let me mix it up a little bit. This with, I said earlier, you can work wherever you prefer. You don't have to worry about any UCS, it just sees member 1, member 2, where they connect, it does something. Never have to worry 2D, 3D detail, that really doesn't matter. So what I'm doing from here, mark the whole thing. I'll just say everything, mark it all, revision 0. What am I going to mark? I'm going to mark all of this, all of these components, since they're mine. And let me perhaps add a couple more components in here, because there's one little feature we just came up with, well, we just enhanced anyway, that could be useful, since again it relates back to drawing. So let me go to construction again, a couple of connections. I'll take a simple stiffener in here, and I'll say this one has a chamfer on it, and I'll say over here, just give me randomly a couple of stiffeners. There we go. I'll take exactly the same one, but this time I'll purposely make a mistake, and I'll say on this be similar stiffener, but with a round. Can happen, you're in a hurry, default is set wrongly, or change something, you forget to change it back. Can happen, we're sometimes in a hurry, just like I did today earlier. We're human beings, we sometimes make little mistakes. I'll mark all of this, and I'll say this is revision 1. Why am I doing this? Because we allow you, of course, to revise your drawings. That's a given, everybody needs to do that, but we also have model revisions. If somebody asks me later, there's been modification, revision on the drawing, where? We can identify each and every component with its revision. So I can immediately point out between what I gave you earlier and what I'm going to give you now, this is the delta, this is the difference, this is what has been modified. So not just the drawing, we also have model revisions, which is very useful for tracking components, of course. And I'll say, you'll just mark all of these assemblies, they'll be fine. So if I look in here, what has changed? All of this. I isolated the view because sometimes we ask for the clouding. So many things change that it can have a serious effect on your model. But these three have changed. I asked to cloud the assemblies because indeed the assembly contents have changed. The mark numbers are now different. You see as well, whatever used to be B1, now B5 and 6 because I added stiffness. There are different assemblies now. So the software allows me to track revisions pretty efficiently. The other thing I can do here is, let's head for the drawings, and I'll just take the simple ones, single part drawings. Let's do the whole phase, the whole floor, like that. I don't have to select like I did earlier. Get a couple of drawings. Let me put this aside, save this drawing by the way, and we have, let's move this thing here. We have a little model explorer over here, which tells me something happened in that phase and I'll make another change. We see the components basically of our structure, and I can see their status with the little colored dots. That was a model explorer, but we also have a drawing explorer these days. See it a bit as a drawing management tool. Just show this down here, like that. I don't have too much space on this screen. So what do I have? A couple of drawings. I have my e-sheet here, of course. There it is. Close the e-sheet for now. And we have one of these. Looks like I did not make these for stiffeners, so let's do that again. Assemblies. These two components. These are here now. Yes, they're there. So I have an M101, which is this one, and an M102, which was almost the same stiffener, but oops, I made a little oopsie while applying the macro. I was not enough coffee, it was too early in the morning. Little mistakes, they can happen, but now I'm in a situation where I say, oh, actually the one on the left, that's the right one. On the one on the right, that's not exactly what I needed. So what I do with that, let me just quickly check. Yep, read only, that will not help. So let's quickly open it again. There we are. So this one's correct, that one's not correct. How do I modify this? Yes, obviously I can search in the model. I have a mark number down here, M102. I can search them, recalculate them, adjust them, and so on. But so much easier if I just have a clone function where I can say, well, I'm going to change a member only, not an assembly, just a member. And I'll let the software go, anything of this same mark, M102, please change it. This is the good one, that is the wrong one. And it will adjust itself. How do I know? Let's look in the model. There it is. So again, making modifications from the drawing straight away. Now you'll say, yeah, but how about your drawing then? No issues. Of course, to make sure my quantity, you see, a couple of elements have been affected, a couple of drawings now due to my modification. Little red dot, careful, your drawing is not up to the latest status. Same thing happens with the model over here, which also can highlight a couple of dots, a couple of colors to tell me, hey, something has changed in there. The right thing to do is to say, okay, I'm going to mark again. Mark what? Now quantities have to be recalculated, mark numbers have to be adjusted. Yeah, just go for all of this. And I'll just go this drawing, just update it. Open up straight away, but that's okay. I'll just open it like this. And now we see that stiffener is 6 times on assembly V5 and on assembly V6. So from the drawing or the model, wherever you want, we track with all these little colorful, say, hints in the explorers, whether it is a model explorer, the drawing explorer, like we call them, or smart. That's how I could call them. And we just basically track what has changed in the model, since modeling things is one thing, but it's only when the revisions are coming in that suddenly. And mistakes can occur, tracking becomes more and more important, and so on. And there's perhaps a final thing, since I mentioned the drawing revisions. Of course, you only be able to show somebody, not that one, the DOM, just do over a whole phase, that should be enough, or let me just complete. Because on drawings is one thing, of course, highlighting. And of course, let's see if I bring it over here. I normally work on 3 screens, and it's on the other screen. Next one, there it is. It's not the prettiest like this, but okay. Where are my revisions? My revisions are here, modification list. So there we go. And then we would like to be able to see the revision 0 I have here. I probably have to pick up a slightly different one. Yeah, these right now have revision 0. I'll probably put on again. Here, I'll put 1. All these components. There you go. There one. And the building material. Give it one more shot, or else I'll have to show you at the table later because I'm running out of time. All of these, I just want a revision. Report. See if it comes up now. Yep, that's a lot better. So we have, previously we had B1, due to revision 1, it's this component. We used to have B1, due to revision 1, becomes like this. There was a B6, remains B6. And it was this component, already had that mark number. Stays like this, but because of the quantity, modification in the quantity, I consider, it's an option, I consider if you change the quantities, please let somebody know, flag it as a revision. So like this, we try to provide as many tools as possible, not just drawing revision, but also model revision, even in a multi-user environment. And then finally here, when I'm done, of course, at the end of the day, I could say, well, actually, end of the day, I can go, okay, we're done, see you tomorrow. Then, oops, forgot to send everything back to my manager. Quickly fire it up again. Here we go. Same job, it's flagging already the last job I used. And the advantage is, you see, all the windows I had open, windows, details, drawings, everything that is open when you close the software pops up again. It represents nothing, but if you don't have it all of a sudden, yeah, I could not live with that. But one project, teamwork, save work as we call it. I saved my job. What do I save? The whole thing, yes. I'll go, save, send back to my manager. Back to the manager's position. He's here, opens up that job. There, and he says, teamwork, get, yes, please take over the changes. That means, yes, somebody saved something in that part of the job. What do we have? There's only one revision. I did not put any notes, but I could have put, and I can say, what has changed in there? Show me. Oh, this has changed. This has been added. What's been modified? These somehow. What's been deleted? I don't think there's any deleted components. So you can have a quick look, and then there's a little camera icon to make a screenshot of this, or you take a little report of the window content, whatever you want to do. But you can at least have a quick view with what I have, with what I'm getting, what are the differences. Again, tracking, very important. And from there, yes, go ahead, accept it, accept it, and so, since now the last time I was here, let's see if I can maybe start with this one. Get the right slide. So, like Helmut said, we listen to customers. You are the ones to make the company go forward as well. I mean, yes, we can say you're the ones buying the licenses, but without your ideas, without your feedback, we cannot move on either. Our developers don't know things better than you. You know what you need. You can tell us what you need. And since Helmut took the software over, there was a big emphasis, a big focus of Helmut to focus on development. Focus on the things that matter to you. You don't have a board of directors to listen to. You're the ones who tell us what we need. So it sounds amazing, but 1,600 new features. So that's new functionalities or options within existing functionalities. 1,600 tickets for development that have been brought into the software. And the focus has been recently more on the teamwork, the point clouds. I can get into this later on. This navigation, this model navigator, the drawing navigator, enhancement on IFC. IFC gives us now the possibility to take over a model from SD, Master, TechFlow, Advanced Steel, you name it, bring it in, or even SketchUp, and it will recognize the shape if it has to go that far, and bring it in, including bolts, welds, assemblies, you name it, so we can extract anything from there as quickly as possible. An API, catalog, and so many other things we've been working on. And as you see in the little picture down there, again, we do more than just steel. We have customers, I have to admit, mainly in Europe so far, who also draw the cladding, so the sheeting, and not just for representation, for actual production, for steering of machines that actually cut out, for example, sandwich panels and so on. And that's what I wanted to end with. Quick overview, a couple of jobs that have been done, not only in North America, like this school here, quite a while back, but still, or this little clubhouse, miscellaneous jobs. Here again, Iranian. Stairs in all kind of shapes and sizes, and you see there again some glass is sometimes involved as well. Industrial jobs of all kind of sizes, sport venues, and there again at the bottom, a mix of concrete, timber, and steel. So these are what we refer to as hybrid projects. Hybrid being then the involvement of different materials, and not just for show, but for actual production. Timber. The last one on top is one of the latest jobs we're pretty proud of, sitting in the Antarctic. It's the second station we make over there. It's cladding again, roofing and sheeting, mining jobs, done a lot in Mexico and Australia right now. Again, some more plate work of all kinds. These are sometimes tricky jobs, but always good fun to work on. Bridges. There's an example of one in Dallas, for example. And even all the way onto offshore projects, so all the oil and gas things, or even wind farms as we see them more and more in Europe, but also probably nobody here is involved in this, but just letting you know, these kind of jobs are also quite unique to us. We're one of the few softwares that actually handle these pretty well. So I hope I just made it. Actually, I still have 5 minutes to spare in case anybody has some questions. Sure. Yeah, go ahead.
We've been interfacing with a Siemens product, and that output file is the JT extension. Do you guys have any experience importing JT file.
That one, not yet. What does that file contain? Is it from analysis or is it from what kind
Well,
of?
the Siemens product that is native to is capable of doing modeling and analysis within the singular program. So I was just curious, they being our client, send us both JT and STEP files. So
Yeah.
I understand you can read the STEP files.
Step is no issues.
Yeah, I was just curious about the other files.
Yeah, step we can actually bring it in, and depends what you use it for. If a step file is just there purely for representation, say a mechanical component just there for representation, then it's fine. You just bring it in as a random component, let's say that, as a random structural component. If you want to actually pull out some intelligence from it, our IFC also enabled, well, IFC and step import also enables us to analyze the shape of what we're importing and matching that to the catalog to make it an actual component as if I modeled it myself. But we can definitely run a test. JT, unfortunately, I'm not familiar with yet, but if you want to run a test on a step file, please, I'll hand you my card in a minute.
Great, thank you.
What kind of jobs are those, if I may ask?
Sorry.
What kind of jobs are those?
Similar to the stairwell example you showed, you know, steel stringers and all the fabricated steel components, you know, we'll receive those models from the client, and we're a fabricator, so we're gonna go build that. So
Yep.
we're really looking at the product just for the simplicity of going from model to 2D prints.
Mhm.
And like you showed, sometimes connections are not always fully vetted in a model, and you're looking to finalize that, so it's kind of neat that you can do that in a 2D form and back that into an updated model. That's pretty cool.
If you want to see a bit more, I'll be able to take it very soon.
Yeah.
Answer all your questions. Anybody else perhaps? Yes?
So can we open multiple projects at the same time?
Sorry?
Can we open multiple projects at the same time?
You can?
Can we copy it between the jobs?
Yes, it's just copying. Either you import from one to the other, or you just in Windows copy, paste the folder, that's it. So if I want to fire up a second session, that first session is still running here. If I want to fire up a second one, for example, older version. So when you fire up two sessions at the same time, it happens, especially certain companies, they work on several jobs at the same time, get a phone call, oh, can you quickly open up that one? Yeah, sure. Leave, stay where you are, and with the same license, you can just fire up a second session. No problem.
Thank you.
Okay, if that's it, thank you very much for your attention. And again, if there's any other questions, feel free to ask me in the hallway, wherever later. Thank you.
You can exit out of that completely.
Okay.
Because I'm talking to them.